Welcome, beautiful, beloved souls. I've got quite a mixture for you today. I have done some channeling. Now, I need to clear a few things up. Before I get into that, my name is Jem. I'm a psychic medium and I'm an author on this channel. You'll find all sorts of content, and I ask my audience to question everything, including me. Now, before I read my channeling, I did channel something about David Wilcock. David Wilcock, I knew David Wilcock through Ancient Aliens, and he's also an author, and reportedly he's supposed to have died in April 2026, described as an apparent you know what I'm talking about, after a police incident in Colorado. I asked ChatGPT about this, and ChatGPT says that sounds very specific, almost too specific. Why this needs caution. The claim is currently coming from low reliability aggregator style celebrity death lists and is not being widely confirmed across major credible outlets. When a real public figure dies, especially in dramatic circumstances like suicide or police involvement, it's normally reported by multiple major news organizations, local law enforcement statements, consistent cross-verified coverage. Right now, that level of confirmation is not clearly present across strong sources. And here's something else. Some of the same lists mentioning him are also including other names that appear incorrect or questionable, which is a red flag that the list itself might not be reliable. What this likely means is you're probably seeing one of these situations. 1. Misinformation or early unverified reporting. 2. A rumour that's been repeated enough to look real. 3. A mix of real deaths plus incorrect additions. Okay, so I've seen reports online claiming that David Wilcock has died, even stating it was a suicide. However, this information is not consistently confirmed across reliable sources, so I'm treating it as unverified at this stage. There's also been a link that because David Wilcock's and is in some way connected, and I haven't explored this, to the 10 missing scientists, which I will cover in my channeling. And I also want to tell you that my channeling, if remote viewing is 65% accurate, what is channeling? Now, before I get into the channeling, I want to let you know that today in Australia is a very important day. It's Anzac Day. This is when the Canadians, the Australians, and the New Zealanders fought together in the different wars. And this morning, and this will come clearer because based on my channeling, what came through. This morning, I had I have trouble saying it, 2 dreams with apocalypses in them. And the second dream with the apocalypse was of the present day Prime Minister of Australia, and I was a different character in this dream, and Albanese had brought all our troops back to Australia to defend us from some enemy. We were at war with somebody, and you could only catch, all flights were like forbidden, and I was on this last flight, and as I was flying over towards Tasmania, there was like these drones trying to shoot at the plane. So I dreamt of being a different character, and I had a whole life unfold in one of these apocalypses, and this is important for what I've channeled. And I'm going to also let you know that I channeled a couple of different things. I did want to ask what happened to David Wilcock, and I was told that he was deceased, but it wasn't what they're claiming. It was something by a person who's psychosis. Now, remember, I have just told you there is no verification that David Wilcock has died. And as I explained, how this affects me is because I'm huge into spirituality. I'm huge into consciousness. I'm huge into UFOs and things like that, and aliens. And when British Nick Pope died, my whole world was kind of rocked. Nick Pope is actually younger than me, and it's so sad to see people younger than you. You've watched them, their careers, and next minute they're gone. So I don't want, just because I've channeled that David has gone, for you to believe that. I wish David would come out and say it's all BS, and then we can move on. I also want to let you know that I have done a commentary about people claiming to have special DNA and Rh negative blood, and I got a comment back that the Anunnaki gave Rh negative blood to humans as part of the working slave narrative. And the answer that I found was Rh negative blood is not a result of Anunnaki intervention. Rh negative is, as science describes, a missing protein. Nothing special, nothing else. So I also looked at, is there anything special connected to the 10 missing scientists? Here we go. Nothing, as conspiracies suggest. All went missing for scared that they knew too much. These scientists went missing to stay silent, so their lives were in danger if they confessed their work. It involved reverse engineered technology and consciousness. Science has evolved to being spiritual. Ran tests where beings were brought into existence, and there are scientists working on time travel where they are ripping holes in the physical universe. So take that with a grain of salt. I also came back to David Wilcock because he claims that he is Edgar Cayce reincarnated. Edgar Cayce is known as the sleeping prophet. All right, here's what I channeled. David isn't Edgar, but he was psychic and he could predict future events. So he saw resemblance to Edgar, but Edgar has not reincarnated. Okay, so we've got those questions out of the way. We are now going to do part 2, the actual focus, and something that is a little bit more tangible, a little bit more believable. So I said any other messages for us now. Just before I get into it, this is how I write my stuff, okay? It's not my writing. All right, here we go. This is about dreams. Remember earlier in this commentary, I told you I had 2 dreams of being a different person and apocalypses. Okay, so this is about dreams. When you dream of another life, living that life, you have actually been living in a parallel universe. It is as real as your waking life. When you dream events, it is sometimes some of that parallel universe. Sometimes events are not real, but a probability, not a possibility. When you dream fantasies, it is also of the state of creation. Some dreams are symbols of your creative mind. Did you just hear that? Because it's Anzac Day, I believe we've just had a jet fly over. All right, so let me repeat this. Some dreams are symbols of your creative mind, but when you dream of whole characters with years of life, you have actually been in another character as a world as real as Earth is when awake. This causes other time frames where you exist as long as dreaming when you are awake. Those characters in your dreams have now gone into the creation. When that occurs, all humans are playing multiple games instead of one existence. And when you then die, you also have reviews of those characteristics. You also have reviews of those characters as all were your life. Let me repeat that because I mucked it up. When you die, you have reviews of those characters as all were your life. So not only do you have a life review, but you have a review of all those characters as all were your life. So on top of thousands of reincarnations are more characters. So it could be millions of games, and then you have other created games. So as well as being human and having those types of creations, you also can exist in other types of created games. In lifetime, you experience hundreds of dreams where you live another character, and it's as real as waking life. We stop here and say, think on what characters have become alive from dreaming. We send blessings and love. We encourage everyone to explore nature of dreams. So, when we channel, I want you to remember that we do filter. As humans, we filter from what we've been exposed to, so the experiences, our belief systems, what we've been educated with, even our trauma can all filter. And I'm going to sometime later offer lessons on how you can channel, because I believe we all are capable of doing it. There are different ways of channeling. I can channel 2 different ways. I can channel, if a client comes up to me, I can channel just by touch, and I'll get a download of information. The other way I channel is automatic writing. And the reason for automatic writing is I like to give my client, if I just say something orally, then they're based on, what did she say? Memory. But if I give them something literal that they can reread, they can then say, oh, this is what she said. It's there in black and white. I suppose I could offer them a channeling where they record me, but usually they want, something, because I offer it quite cheap. I first do some writing for free. I say, don't tell me anything, and I'll do some writing for you. If this resonates, then pay me. And I do not do cold or hot readings. I know nothing about my client. Am I 100% accurate? No. I have had 100% accuracies with some clients, but some clients I've been way off the mark. I have been accurate enough to be offered a job as the psychic for the medieval fair that used to be at South Brisbane, but when they moved to the Sunshine Coast Mountains, I couldn't get there. So the manager of the medieval fair offered me a job, but I didn't take it up. And I've been offered jobs as an online psychic, and I questioned them and said, what if I can't read the person? Because sometimes you can't. Do you know what they said to me? Make it up. I said, no, don't want the job, because I will always be honest. Either I'm true or it's not true. There's no in between. There's no grey. All right. So let me know. I really need your response, a comment. Do so respectfully. Let me know what you've heard about David Wilcock. Now, I don't live in America, as you know. I live on the Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia. So you may have up to date. I have Googled it, and there are quite a few sources saying he has, but ChatGPT says no, that's not verified. But we haven't heard anything from the man himself. All right, please be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Love, light, and blessings. Bye.